Welcome back to another Granularity AI tutorial slash how to. So recently, I was asked a very interesting question in the comment section of one of my recent tutorials. I believe it was on kind of creating your own voice agent. Um, and someone had asked in the comment section, shout out to Naveen Noel J, of how would you get the agent to do RAG slash talk with your documents, databases, etc. And I thought that was a pretty interesting and insightful question because that would be extremely beneficial and extremely valuable for any enterprise or business, right? So the RAG framework combines information retrieval with generative AI to enhance text generation tasks. It retrieves relevant documents from a knowledge base using a retrieval model and then uses a generative model to produce responses based on both the query and the retrieved documents. This approach improves the accuracy and relevance of generated answers by grounding them in external, up to date information resources. So, how could this be useful? How could this be important? One example I thought of recently is, let's say you are a researcher, or a statistician, even, and you want to do a survey on a sample population. Back in the day, they would either mail out surveys, they would either walk around and conduct field work and do surveys. And I think, now they have maybe outdated automated systems that kind of sound robotic and ask questions to users or individuals. Um, to get responses, but again, you could tell that it's robotic, you can tell that it's not human, and most times people just hang up because they feel like it's a collect call or something like that, a collections call, or advertisers, telemarketers. But what if you're able to have an AI voice agent that might replicate a human's voice, sound more natural, and you're able to load a questionnaire to these AI voice agents that's then able to make outbound calls to a list of numbers, have a casual feel of a conversation with these individuals, and then collect the needed information based on the questions you uploaded. That's one example. Another example is maybe a chatbot that needs to have certain relevant, informative documents. Um, One example that I could think of for this is ChatGPT. I think in the GPT 4.0 mini model, if you ask it kind of how far its information, or how updated is its information, I think it says that it only has information up to about October 2023. And it is also has the ability to search the web for, I guess, other relevant stuff if needed, but its corpus of documents, text, whatever, is only updated to October 2023. So what if you have a chatbot kind of similar to ChatGPT, rather than only limiting it to a certain, date, or limiting it to a certain year, you could instead upload it whenever you want to only contain the most recent documents, so that it can pull, or it can speak the most recent information to an individual, right? For example, if a patient comes to let's say a doctor's office or a pharmacy, whatever it may be, and maybe they want the scripts, or they want their labs, from their most recent operation or their most recent prescription, they don't want to know about their labs and their prescriptions from 2023. No, they want to know as present as it could be, right? If they pulled it yesterday, they want to know about it yesterday. If they pulled it 2 weeks ago, they want to know about it 2 weeks ago. If they pulled it 3 hours ago, they want that. Um, Making sure that that chatbot has the most recent information based on the question, based on the HIPAA questions, that individual asks, can be extremely helpful. So that's kind of two ideas that I have for free. If you wanted to know kind of how I would create a product or an application out of a RAG plus AI voice agent. Um, so if you like what you're hearing, if this does interest you, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you like. If you want, you can also dislike. Any kind of feedback helps. I want your feedback. I want your suggestions. Also, again, shout out to Naveen. That was an extremely interesting topic that I think um, is going to bring a lot of value for a lot of people. So I appreciate that comment. Anyways, like I said, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Make sure you kind of come up with ideas that I can then approach and give you guys what you're kind of looking for. Anyways, the documents that we're going to use today are going to be something relevant to quantum mechanics. And excuse me, I am kind of sick today, guys. I'm kind of just getting over a cold. So if you hear any coughing or any clearing of my throat, like that's just me trying to stay alive. Um, but anyways, we are going to talk about quantum mechanics today. Now, am I a professor or an expert on quantum mechanics? Absolutely not. But that's why, or that's what we have AI for, right? So this is a chapter 10 introduction to quantum mechanics from Harvard EDU by David Morin. Um, I guess he is a professor of physics at Harvard. And quantum mechanics can be pretty difficult for anyone to understand. Even me, I'm not. I am a self-proclaimed idiot. I don't think I'm the smartest person. I just think I try a lot of things. Um, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I'm very much willing to try, very much willing to experiment, and very much willing to learn as I go. So we're going to kind of ask questions about the Schrodinger equation to this AI agent and see kind of how it explains these answers. Maybe see if it can give us kind of the equations, maybe see if it kind of uh, um, talk about the time dependent Schrodinger equation, stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going to test out today. Now, don't want to take too much time. We're already about 7 minutes in. I try not to make these videos too long, so let's kind of jump right into the tutorial. So as you can see, I already kind of have a few things. Let me delete this real quick. Yes. I already kind of have a few things, right? Logging, pickle. Now, one thing I want to make sure you guys note is the LiveKit agents here. You want to make sure that you do install these packages and that you do, that you do install these packages. This, I think we got to run the build data one first, actually. I'm sorry. But yeah, make sure you kind of run these packages. And as you can see, we have assistant.py and build data here. Let's go to build data first. And for build data, sorry to kind of go back and forth, but for build data, you're going to want to import asyncio, pickle, UUID, LiveKit agents, LiveKit plugins. Make sure you import OpenAI and RAG, and make sure you do a pip install dash dash update to both of these packages here. If you do not have the most updated version, it will kind of throw back an error. So just kind of want to point that out to you guys whenever you do try this out. So as you can see, I have the text document here. I did copy and paste the information, added it to a notepad, have it as a text document, um, and then kind of just did that way. And maybe next time I'll do another video on like embedding dimensions. And kind of, I know you can either do 512 for this dimensions or 1536. I think in the documentation I was reading, you could either use 512 or 1536 for the dimensions, depending on the embedding model you're using. The embedding model I am using is from OpenAI, just to kind of give you guys that heads up. So, anyways, as you can see, this is kind of the definition that then kind of installs or then that creates the client session. So we're going to kind of go ahead and run this real quick. Matter of fact, just let's run the packages first. Oh, and don't forget the environment variables. That's going to contain your LiveKit APIs, your DeepGram APIs, so forth and so on. Now, I know there was a question, I think, in the comment section also for my last video of someone like, hey, how come I don't see the DeepGram text window anymore? Again, I think there was an update to the LiveKit UI where they no longer include the transcript view on there. Maybe like you just got to switch the view. I'm not sure. I'm not going to do it in this video, honestly. Sorry about that. But I'm sure like it's probably an option to just switch the view. They probably just made the view that I'm about to show the default of just including the voice. Just want to throw that out there. Anyways, let's go ahead and run this real quick. Nice. And as you can see, it installed not installed, but it uploaded the Schrodinger equation document into our my data pickle of a file here. And then we're going to go to the assistant.py, which is where we're going to run the assistant itself. So again, logging, pickle, LiveKit agents, LiveKit plugins, DeepGram, OpenAI, RAG, Celerio. Sorry, I'm not coding it from scratch. I don't know if you guys have a preference on that or not. But if you do, let me know in the comments section as well. This was kind of a lot to kind of figure out and code out here and there. So I kind of didn't really feel like coding it all from scratch. It'd probably take maybe an hour. So I wasn't really a fan of doing it from scratch. Let me know if you guys kind of disagree of like, oh no, you should have coded it from scratch. I don't know. But you let me know what you guys think. So anyways, like I said, LiveKit agents, LiveKit plugins, you want to make sure you install the .env package as well to make sure your environment variables get loaded. I learned that the hard way. There we go. And then we want to run this real quick. Boom. And then just like before, you want to do copy path, Python, your assistant.py path, and then dev at the end. And it should initialize and start creating that room for you, as you can see. Beautiful, beautiful. Once you kind of have this ID, the registered worker ID, you're pretty much good to go. So let's kind of navigate back to the sandbox here. And we're going to ask it 2 or 3 questions. Obviously, first, we're going to greet it.
Hey, how can I help you today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm just a program, so I don't have feelings, but I'm
Okay.
ready to help you. How can I
Understandable.
assist you today?
Understandable. Can you explain to me the Schrodinger equation?
The Schrodinger equation describes how the quantum state of a physical system changes over time. It's a fundamental equation in quantum mechanics. The time-dependent version relates energy, wave functions, and potentials, showing how wave functions evolve. Essentially, it predicts probabilities of finding particles in various states.
What is the time-dependent Schrodinger equation?
The time-dependent Schrodinger equation describes how the wave function of a quantum system evolves over time. It is written as I step x t for the type to step x t vx plus x t is a wave function. Here, it is the reduced Planck's constant, m is the mass, and vx is the potential energy.
Is Schrodinger's equation valid?
Schrodinger's equation is a fundamental part of quantum mechanics and is valid within its domain. However, it's a limiting case of more comprehensive theories like quantum field theory. While it explains many phenomena, it doesn't incorporate gravity and isn't the ultimate theory of everything.
What are the three reasons of why it is not valid?
The three reasons are: it's based on Deb Broglie's assumptions about waves and particles, which aren't proven. 2, in physics, no theory can be completely proven. It must align with experiments and might just be a limiting case of a more accurate theory. 3, the Schrödinger equation isn't the final theory, as it doesn't align with quantum field theory, which also doesn't incorporate gravity.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
So, obviously, when explaining the equation itself, it had some trouble. You couldn't really understand. But again, that's where maybe the transcript comes in. And maybe I'll look into more of whether it's an option or not, to kind of have the transcript as maybe the default for whenever I do these videos, so that you guys can see kind of what it's saying and how it's kind of, how it's communicating back and forth and what questions it reads. Um, so again, the text that I use, the instruction base that I use is: you are a voice assistant created by LiveKit. Your interface with users will be voice. You should use short and concise responses and avoiding usage of unpronounceable punctuation. Use the provided context to answer the user's question if needed. So as you can see, RAG plus AI agents, AI voice agents, is a combination of both a knowledge base that we as the developers upload, plus whatever that model knows and whatever it can kind of conceptualize and comprehend and then spit back out to the user that's asking such question. So it also depends on what you upload to it. So for example, this document that I upload on quantum mechanics is fairly something complex and complicated. Um, the best way that I would believe that you should use this is ask it to, in the instructions, say you are a assistant who can explain um, complex theories and subjects to a 5 year old, you know, and have it as a homework assistant for your students, for your children, for your brothers and sisters, whatever it may be. Point is, having a voice AI agent can be really helpful for a lot of people and for a lot of reasons. It can also be something that um, can meet disability needs, right? If someone is blind and they can't really see text, right, this as an option can be really helpful. So there is a lot of benefits to RAG plus AI voice agents. As I said in the beginning, um, you could use it to make outbound calls. You can also, I believe, use it to accept inbound calls. Maybe I'll do a video on that, like outbound and inbound calls with LiveKit. Um, and have a script or documents that I can read off of and have a back and forth with users on a certain knowledge base. Um, Same thing with a chatbot, with a survey. These tutorials I'm doing are keeping in mind of the possibilities that individuals are able to accomplish in the future and what they're able to create. I want to give you guys ideas on how to create the next generation of models, next generation of ideas, next generation of applications. I want to know and see what you guys come up with. I want to know and hear about the ideas you have. Like I said, again, shout out to Naveen. Super cool idea to experiment with and see. I hope this worked for you. Um, and I hope this kind of answered your question. If not, comment again and be like, this tutorial sucked. It didn't answer my question at all. And I'll say, oh, okay, you know what? Let's have a conversation and maybe let's talk more. Um, but anyways, like I said, if you did enjoy this video, please subscribe. Please like. If you want, go ahead and dislike. Make comments, make suggestions. I want your feedback so that I can kind of give you guys the interesting topics that you want to know and learn. Anyways, bye bye.